Hi guys, how's it going? So today I wanted to just try and talk you through the way that I use a lift and the way that I use the push button system. What I've got set up in front of me is sort of complicated, but honestly it's really simple. Right now I have a moving platform and I'm going to do this sideways simply because it doesn't matter which way you have your pistons, whether you have them pushing up, whether you have them pushing down. The important bit is going to be the logic and where you connect everything up. So obviously when this is all set naturally, this is our piston when it's closed. Okay. And when it's open, our piston will be in the red zone. So pretend this is your lift. The red zone is one floor and this grey zone is another floor. So this is a single floor lift. It takes you from the ground to the roof, if you like. I use a memory bit to do this. Nice and simple. Memory bits are set up like this. It's in a triangle loop. So this is a NOR gate and it goes from the NOR gate into the OR gate. From the OR gate into the NOR gate. And it loops back around into the other NOR gate. So right now this is our logic setup. And we go from the OR gate at the top into the piston. Now this isn't going to do anything right now. There's nothing to tell it to move. That's where our buttons come in. So what we're saying here is, if we're on the red floor, we need this to come to us. And the only way that that's going to come to us is if the piston fully extends. Because it's only one piston at the minute, I've got this set up literally just in the piston. My piston is at full 15. I want it to extend. In order to extend this piston, I need to connect my push button into this NOR gate that is lit up. What this does is this push button will activate the circuit. So it will turn this off, but it will turn these two bits on. And it will look something like this. So if I push my button, it activates these two. And when this OR gate is lit up, that'll obviously activate the piston. Well, that's cool. Now we've got it down here. That's exactly where we want to go. How do you want to go back? Okay, so this is where a few more buttons come in. And this is how your elevator system works. Obviously, when you're in your elevator, you're going to want to have a button to take to the red floor and a button to take you to the grey floor. Okay? So with this current setup, in order to go back to the grey floor, we need our piston to close. That is really easy. So we've just got to link this button to this NOR gate this side. So what that does, it will turn this off and we'll go back up. So if I press this grey button, it turns off this circuit and it closes the piston in. Awesome. So what we've got here is a system that works just to go up and down. So if we're on the red floor and push this button, the lift will come down to us. When the lift is with us, we can hop onto the lift and we can push the grey button and it'll take us up to the grey floor. That's fantastic. That's exactly what we want. But right now we're at the grey floor. How do I go to the red floor? Real simple. We've just got to connect this red button up to the same side that the first red button is set up. So that's this side. So if we jump on here and press the red button, we'll cruise our way down to the red floor. But say our lift is at the red floor, but we're now at the grey floor. How do we call our lift back up? Again, real simple. We've just got to connect the grey floor button up to the grey floor. So we'll push this and it'll come back up. So that is really simply how to run this system if you just had one floor. You can do this with less logic, but I'm going to use it like this because I want to extend this. So now that was just one floor. That's great and all, but what happens if we have another floor? Okay, so for another floor, we're going to need another piston, right? So we'll get our second piston in. You can already see the issue with stacking pistons. We're now losing a bit of space. Okay, so red floor activates this, grey floor activates this, But that's only going to work with one piston. So we're going to cruise it to the red floor. That's awesome. But what happens if we want to go to a second floor? So this is where you're going to need a controller. So there's our controller. And we'll link our controller up to the OR gate. And then we'll also link our controller up to the first piston, only the first piston. So this is our red floor, and we know to go to our red floor, we need it to be 15, okay? Let me try and color code everything so it makes a little bit of sense. I will color code the controller to tell you which floor you're going to go to. So the controller is going to go to the red floor. Okay, but what happens if we want to go a little bit further? For example, what happens if we want to go to what will be, call it the blue floor, and we'll put the blue floor here. So what happens if we want to go to the blue floor? Obviously, we need to activate the second controller. Well, how do we do this? Well, we've put our piston in. Awesome. But now we need to sort out our logic. So in order to do that, we obviously go, okay, so what do we need to do? We need to activate the second piston. So we do this and this. So we're going to need a second set of memory. So again, we'll do so again, it's quite simple. It is the NOR, OR, and NOR. Link that up. And that OR goes into our controller. We'll put our push button down. So we're at the blue floor, and like the same with the red, we need to activate that controller. And I don't know how far this is going to be, so we'll just turn this on for now, just to let us know where our length will be. Okay, so we're happy there. Great. The only problem here is it's not going to work properly. So to go to the grey floor, we need everything to be set off. Okay? So when you want all of your pistons to close, you want your buttons that are going to close all the pistons onto your NOR block that goes into your OR block. So you'll have one light on and one light off. You want to link it to the light that is off at the same time your OR light is off. So we're going over here. Okay, so we know the red side works. So we push the red button, it goes down into the red mark, and we push the grey button and it goes up. And I've literally built the same thing, so we might think, hey, we'll press the blue button, we'll go into the blue. Well, no, because all we're doing here is telling it to extend the blue piston. In order for us to go into this blue area, we need to add, you have to put another piece of logic in. This will be an OR gate, and this is where things change a little bit, but not too much. So now what you'll have is this. You'll have the blue memory currently going from the blue OR gate straight into the blue controller, which goes to the blue piston. You will also have from the blue OR gate into the single OR gate, from the single OR gate into the red controller, which goes to the red piston. And then the red memory will go from the red OR gate into the single OR gate. Okay? So without the buttons on, try and make things a little bit easier to see. So with no buttons connected, it should look a little bit like this. Blue set of memory, OR gate, blue controller, blue piston. Also blue memory, OR gate, into a single OR gate, into red controller, into red piston. Red memory goes from red OR gate into single OR gate, and then obviously it's linked to red controller. Now what this means for the buttons, if we want all pistons to be closed, go to the NOR gate that is off when the OR gate is off, okay? So what this will do is basically turn all pistons off. It will turn all controllers off, all pistons off. Then to go to the blue, we need to go onto this NOR gate here. And in doing so, activates this OR gate, which turns on the blue controller, and also turns on the single OR gate, which activates the red controller as well. That means that it will activate both pistons and it'll come all the way down here. For the red button, we simply take the red button into the red NOR gate here, so that when we push this, it activates the single NOR gate, which turns on the red controller, but it does not activate the blue controller. At this point, I forgot to mention that the red button that is on the floor needs to be linked to the NOR gate of the blue circuit to turn the blue circuit off. So with this, only the red piston activates. To reset, so we go back when all pistons are closed, you connect the grey floor button, in our example, to the NOR gate that is connected to the OR gate of both sets of circuits. So now when we press this grey button, it turns off all of the systems and closes us all up. Same with this button that is on the grey floor. Red button, obviously, pretty much similar. So anything inside your lift is exactly the same as any button on the outside. So our red call button is to reset the blue side, but activate the red side. So now if we press this, it comes here. And it is the same with the red button in the lift. So we need it to reset the blue side, but turn on the red side. So it won't do anything now. We send it back to the grey area, and it'll get back to the grey area. Now we want to go to the red, press the red, and it'll go to the red. So then we put our blue button on. Okay, so remember what we have to do. We have to do the same as the outside. So in order to do this, we're going to have to connect that blue button. It's going to be connected to this side. So we connect that blue button to this side. So now if we're on the red floor and we want to go to blue, we press the blue button, activates the blue side, and away we go. So from here we can go all the way back to closed piston, which puts us at the top. We can go to the red floor, and we can go to the blue floor. So if you want to add another floor, it is the similar situation. We need to add more logic. We need to add another piston. Okay. So same again, NOR, NOR, NOR in the loop. That's a NOR, that's an OR, and that's an OR. Now this is something that I'm going to use as a demonstration. Sometimes when you load your game in, this might be happening. There is an easy fix to this, and it is simply an AND gate. And then what we do with this AND gate is we take both the NORs and then just simply connect it up to the OR gate. And what that does, it stops it from going crazy. You don't necessarily need this. You don't need that AND gate, but it does help sometimes. If you load in, you might hear your pistons firing. You can solve it just by pressing one of your lift buttons, or if you have that AND gate, it will stop it from happening in general. So we want to go to a different floor again. Let's say the white floor. Let's make the white floor nice and short. So the white floor is going to be here. So in order to extend to the white floor, we're going to need a controller to activate the piston. So this controller is going to take on this piston. It is going to be the white piston. Now we need to work out how far it needs to go. Boom. Okay, so we can go to the blue. But in order to go to the blue, this is where you've got to add in that extra step. So now to go to the blue, we need to turn off the white circuit. This is our white circuit. So in order to turn this off, we have to connect to this side. So when this light is on and this light is on, it means that our controller is on. We want our controller off, so we need to turn this off. So that is for the blue side. And it is the same for the red side. When the red side we want to come, we've got to turn the white side off. So your red will be turning off the white and the blue, but it turns on the red. So the blue, this blue button here, will need to turn off the white, but it'll need to turn on this blue section, which is also set up to turn on the red at the same time. Okay. So if we push the blue, it turns off the white section, and we come here. And then if we turn the grey needs to turn every section off. So we need to turn the white section off as well. So if we push the grey, turns all pistons off. Now we need our call button for the white. Now white call button is here. So this call button needs to turn on this white section. But at the minute this won't do anything other than activate the white piston. When we do that, we also need to activate our blue circuit. So what we're saying is, okay, yo, when you activate the blue as well. Okay, so what we did there is we put a single AND gate down and we linked the AND gate to the input side of the blue because we've got our blue set up to also activate the red. I hope this makes sense, I really do. So we're at the white length now, so if we turn it to blue, the white section turns off and all of the other sections remain on. We come to white, we turn the white on, it activates all sections. We go to the grey, resets everything. So you see how it's all kind of blinking? We can solve that with that AND gate. So if we put that AND gate in here and we link the OR and OR to the AND gate, and there we go. So we come back here and we push the grey again. It closes all pistons up. If we go to white, it activates the white, activates the blue, which is also, because of this OR gate, activating the red. So we come to red floor, we want to bring it back. Red floor deactivates white, deactivates blue, brings us to red. And I know what you're thinking, we're now over, but that is because we've added a length in here. So the more you add into your pistons, you're doing it in a straight line, obviously the more your floors are no longer going to line up. So keep that in mind when you're building your pistons. That is basically how I personally do this. It seems confusing, but it's really not. It's just a system of memory bits that then have to activate the previous memory bit. So if I was to add another floor again, it's very simple. I would be saying that is basically all I need to activate a single floor. But then if I want to also activate all of this stuff, I will simply put and that single AND gate will also go in to activate the previous floor. Because I've got it set up so white floor will activate blue and red. So if I made this, say, green floor, I would say green floor activates, but I also want it to activate and activate the white floor, which, because of how this is set up, white floor currently activates blue floor also activates red floor. So if I went green floor, activate white floor, because of the link, it activates all of this stuff, all the pistons fully extend. And if you set up the buttons, as I've tried to show you, I hope it makes sense. I know it's a little bit messy, but if you set up the buttons inside the same way as you do outside, it will work exactly the same. So we want red floor to activate, so red floor turns off white, red floor turns off blue, red floor turns on red. That means this button will go to red floor, which it is. So come all the way to white. It's in the white. I'm on my left. I want to go to red. Red floor deactivates white, deactivates blue, and then we'll be on red floor. And you can see that because the white piston is closed, the blue piston is closed, but the red piston is long. Now the tricky situation is, say for example, your white piston isn't quite full extended. So say our white floor is here. Well, how do we get to there? That's where you have to use your controller to make the difference in the piston lengths. That is why, ideally, you will need a different set of logic for each floor, because you cannot do half lengths in pistons. So there you go. So that's now our white floor. So we're here. So if I wanted to then extend to a full floor the other way, so for example, if I then put another piston on here and I needed to extend this all the way down, I cannot extend this white piston anymore because it's set into this logic. I can't give it two inputs. I can't say when I go to white floor I want the white piston to be this long, but when I go to green floor, for example, I want the white piston to be this long. That isn't something that you can do. You cannot do that. You can't put two inputs to one piston. So, unfortunately, the way that I do it is I use a set of logic for each piston, and that defines how long it goes. I hope that helps. I know it's a little bit janky. It's a really difficult one to try and explain, but I hope I've done my best there to help you guys understand it. Don't worry about my pistons being this way. They are just there to show you that a piston extends. Your important piece is all the logic and then what you do with it. I hope that there's some information there that will help you guys out. Let me know if there's anything more I can try and explain or I can try and do. I really appreciate it. Take it easy, and I will catch you another day. Bye, guys. Bye.